Billionaire CEO panics without a Chinese translator until the black waitress takes over. The crystal chandeliers of Shanghai's Grand Pavilion Hotel cast golden light over the assembled executives. Aurelia Sky's voice cuts through the silence like a knife. My translator's been poisoned. The Chinese executives exchange glances. Have you ever had to face someone from your past at the exact moment your future hangs in the balance? Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family. Enjoy the story. The Americans shift uncomfortably. $300 million hangs in the balance as Aurelia's carefully orchestrated deal begins to collapse. Her crimson lips press into a thin line, cobalt blue suit unwrinkled despite the 12-hour flight and the chaos erupting around her. Before panic can fully take hold, a woman steps forward from the service staff. The hot pink of her dress nearly vibrates against her brown skin. I can translate, she says, her Mandarin flawless. Fluent Mandarin, fluent Cantonese, and I know your business very well. Only when their eyes meet does recognition flash across Aurelia's face. Not just any waitress. Nia Carter, the ex-wife she betrayed for her empire 2 years ago. The woman whose career she destroyed. The love she sacrificed for power. A flash drive dangles from Nia's wrist as she smiles, taking the seat of the fallen translator. What no one else in the room realizes, these two women once shared everything. Bed, dreams, matching tattoos. Now one controls a billion-dollar neurotech empire, while the other holds secrets that could burn it all down. The game begins now. What would you do if the person you once destroyed became the only one who could save your $300 million deal? Have you ever had to face someone from your past at the exact moment your future hangs in the balance? When ambition collides with revenge, even billionaires discover that some debts can't be settled with money. What happens when two brilliant women who once shared everything now fight for control of a global empire with the power to reshape human consciousness? If you believe some betrayals can never be forgiven, hit that like button and subscribe to witness a high-stakes game of revenge and redemption playing out between two of the most formidable minds in the tech world. The translator collapsed mid-sentence. Champagne flute shattering across marble as Aurelia's $300 million deal began crumbling before her eyes. One moment, David Chun was smoothly converting her technical jargon into Mandarin. The next, his body hit the floor with a thud that echoed through the conference room. His lips turned blue. His eyes rolled back. Security rushed in. Medical staff followed. Anaphylactic shock, someone shouted. The Chinese executives from Ling Xiao Biotech stood frozen, expressions unreadable. Their leader, Dr. Wei, checked his watch. Perhaps we reschedule? His accent was thick, his meaning clear. This deal might not be worth the trouble. Aurelia's heart pounded against her ribs. 2 years building this partnership. Millions in research. Her competitors circling like sharks. And now disaster. We continue, Aurelia said, voice steady despite the chaos. My team can. Her assistant leaned in, whispering urgently. No one else speaks Mandarin, Miss Sky. Not at this level. The room felt suddenly small. Too hot. The weight of expectation is crushing. Then movement from the back. Hotel staff clearing plates paused. One step forward, a woman in a pink dress that caught every eye in the room. I can translate, she said in English before switching to perfect Mandarin, introducing herself to the Chinese delegation. My name is Yushi. Only it wasn't. Aurelia knew that face. Those eyes. That voice. Nia Carter. The woman whose heart she'd broken for the sake of SkyMine's stock price. The linguistics genius whose reputation she'd allowed to be destroyed. The wife she'd paid to disappear. And now she held Aurelia's future in her hands. You speak Mandarin? Aurelia asked, buying seconds to compose herself. 5 languages, actually. Nia's smile didn't reach her eyes. I believe you once found that impressive. Dr. Wei nodded, impressed by the exchange. We proceed then? With no options left? Aurelia nodded. Yes, let's continue. She handed the contract to Nia, their fingers brushing for the first time in 2 years. A jolt of electricity passed between them. Familiar, dangerous, alive. The game was just beginning. 3 hours into negotiations, Aurelia caught the slight, almost imperceptible, mistranslation that could cost her company millions. Ask Dr. Wei about the exclusivity clause. Aurelia directed Naya, watching her carefully. Naya nodded, speaking rapid-fire Mandarin. But something was off. A word changed here. A meaning shifted there, small enough that no one would notice, unless they'd spent nights listening to Naya practice these very phrases 2 years ago. Aurelia's grip tightened on her pen. The exclusivity rights to SkyMine's neuro-enhancement technology were the crown jewels of this deal, and Naya had just described them as limited term rather than perpetual. You mistranslated, Aurelia said quietly, away from the microphones. Naya's eyes met hers, challenging. Did I? My Mandarin is a bit rusty since I had to abandon my PhD. Career changes, you know. The barb hit its mark. Aurelia had walked away while media outlets smeared Naya with false accusations of academic fraud, allegations that mysteriously appeared right when SkyMine's board demanded Aurelia cut ties. Dr. Wei spoke again, and Naya translated flawlessly this time. Too flawlessly. She was playing a game, showing Aurelia she could help or hurt as she chose. As Naya reached for her water glass, her sleeve pulled back. There was a half-burned tattoo on her wrist. The same geometric pattern Aurelia had etched on her own ribcage the night they married in Tokyo. Naya tried to remove it, but not completely. A reminder, a scar. The Chinese executives nodded, impressed by some point Naya made. Too impressed. What did you just tell them? Aurelia demanded. That your technology has certain vulnerabilities that Neurofront has already solved, Naya replied softly. Which happens to be true. Neurofront, SkyMine's biggest competitor. The pieces clicked into place. You work for them. Naya's smile was razor sharp. I work for whoever values what I bring to the table. The contract draft sat between them, and Aurelia suddenly wondered what else might be mistranslated within its pages. What traps waited for her signature? What revenge had been carefully prepared? The hotel rooftop bar emptied at midnight, leaving Aurelia alone with the woman in pink who once shared her bed and now threatened her empire. Nice view, Naya said, swirling amber liquid in a crystal glass. You always did like being on top. Shanghai's skyline glittered below them, a constellation of light and power. Much like the flash drive Naya now pulled from her purse and placed on the table between them. What's on it? Aurelia asked, voice steady despite the chaos in her chest. Everything. Board meeting recordings where they plotted against me. Emails proving the academic fraud allegations were fabricated. Oh, and the real reason Ling Xiao wants your technology, military applications you've been conveniently ignoring. The wind picked up, whipping Aurelia's hair across her face. She brushed it back, buying seconds to think. You were never here to help, were you? Naya leaned forward, the pink dress catching the light. I came to finish what you started. But why destroy me? Because you chose your empire over me. Now I'm taking the only thing you ever truly loved, control. The words hung between them, heavy with truth. 2 years ago, Aurelia had handed Naya a settlement check with trembling fingers, had watched her sign divorce papers without meeting her eyes, had said nothing when Naya whispered, was any of it real? You're working for Neurofront, Aurelia said, the pieces fitting together. They recruited you for revenge. They recognized my value, Naya corrected. Unlike you, they didn't ask me to choose between my brain and my heart. Aurelia reached for the flash drive, but Naya was faster, snatching it back. Tomorrow you'll sign a revised agreement, one that gives Neurofront access to your patents. Or this goes public, and SkyMine stock crashes when investors learn their CEO ignored military applications and silenced whistleblowers. Naya stood, the pink dress flowing around her. Your choice, Aurelia. Just like last time, their eyes locked, electricity still crackling between them despite everything. You really hate me that much? Aurelia asked softly. Naya's laugh held no humor. That's the tragedy. I never stopped loving you. That's why this has to end. She walked away, leaving Aurelia alone with the city lights and the weight of her choices. The security footage showed a pink sleeve adjusting the translator's drink, but the face remained carefully hidden from every camera angle. "Play it again," Aurelia instructed the hotel security chief, who tapped his keyboard with growing discomfort. The luxury hotel security office was cramped, nothing like the sleek minimalism of SkyMine's headquarters. Screens lined the walls, showing empty corridors and sleeping guests. On the central monitor, the footage rewound and played. Pre-meeting reception. David Chun accepting a champagne flute. A server in pink, Naya, passing by. Her arm briefly obscured the glass. 20 minutes later, Chun collapsed. Could be coincidence, the security chief offered weakly. Aurelia's gaze cut through him. Nothing about this is coincidence. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Poison was just the beginning. Walk away from the deal. The sick feeling in Aurelia's stomach deepened. Not just Naya and Neurofront, but someone else too. A larger conspiracy. Gene, her tech security officer, entered with his laptop. "We have a problem." The hotel's main security server had a 5-minute outage exactly when Shin was poisoned. Someone knew the system. "That's impossible," the security chief protested. Jean raised an eyebrow. "Nothing's impossible with the right access codes." Aurelia's mind raced. The translator's poisoning, the convenient appearance of Naya, the security breach, all perfectly timed. "Show me the hotel staff records," she demanded. The file opened to reveal Yushi had been hired just 3 days ago. References checked out. Background spotless. Too spotless. She created a whole identity, Aurelia murmured. "But why go through all this? She could have exposed me with that flash drive without the elaborate setup." Jean leaned closer. "Because this isn't just about exposing you. It's about replacing you." The realization hit like ice water. Neurofront didn't want to ruin SkyMind. They wanted to acquire it in the chaos after Aurelia's fall. Her phone buzzed again, this time with an alert from her banking app. The divorce settlement she'd paid Naya 2 years ago, $20 million, had just been transferred back to her account with a simple note. "I don't want your money. I want my life back." The contract draft glowed on Aurelia's tablet. Altered code buried in line 247. A change so subtle would transfer patent rights without anyone noticing until too late. "There," Aurelia pointed, showing Jean the digital fingerprints hidden in the contract's coding. The translation looks correct on the surface, but the back-end programming tells another story. Jean whistled low. "If you'd signed this, SkyMind would have handed over neural interface rights to Ling Xiao within 6 months." They sat in Aurelia's hotel suite, the Shanghai skyline bright against the night sky. Security stationed outside her door. Trust shattered inside it. "She's good," Jean admitted, scrolling through more code. "Most people would never catch this. Most people didn't watch her build security systems for fun," Aurelia said quietly. The memory burned. Naya cross-legged on their bed, coding while Aurelia read financial reports, both brilliant in their own worlds but perfectly aligned. Until they weren't. Jin's fingers flew across the keyboard. "There's more. This contract has a digital tracker embedded. Everything you view, every change you make, someone's watching." Neurofront. Bigger. Jean turned on his laptop, showing a network map. These access patterns match government-level systems. Not just corporate espionage, national interests. Cold realization washed over Aurelia. They're using Naya, or she's using them. Jean closed his laptop. "Either way, you're the target." Aurelia stood, pacing. The pieces shifted in her mind like a chessboard. Naya's brilliance, the perfect timing, the military applications hidden in their research. "Show me everything on Neurofront's recent activities," she demanded. Data flooded the screen. Military contracts, research breakthroughs, new executives with government connections. And there, a familiar face. Dr. Marcus Chun, the brother of her poisoned translator, head of research at Neurofront. The poisoning wasn't to remove the translator, Aurelia realized. It was to place Naya in the room. Set up from the start, Jean agreed. Aurelia's phone chimed with a meeting reminder. Tomorrow morning, final negotiations. Signatures. We have 12 hours to turn this around, she said, determination hardening her voice. Gene nodded, gathering his equipment. What's our play? Aurelia stared at the altered contract, thinking of the woman who'd changed it. The same woman who once changed her life. Countercode everything, and give me everything on Naya's movements for the past 2 years. I need to know who she's become, because somewhere beneath the pink dress and the revenge was the woman Aurelia had loved. The question was whether that woman still existed at all. Your former wife isn't working alone, Gene whispered, sliding a folder across the table containing surveillance photos of Naya meeting with Neurofront executives. Dawn broke over Shanghai as they huddled in a corner of the hotel restaurant. Aurelia flipped through the images, each one a punch to her gut. Naya laughing with Dr. Marcus Chun. Naya entering Neurofront headquarters. Naya received what looked like a briefcase from a Chinese official. This was taken 3 months ago, Aurelia said, tapping a photo of Naya at Beijing airport. They've been planning this for a long time. Gene nodded, keeping his voice low. Neurofront's been busy. Their CEO made an announcement this morning. He passed her his phone. On screen, Jackson Reed, Neurofront's silver-haired founder, stood before reporters. The neuro-enhancement market is about to experience a significant disruption, he said, eyes gleaming with confidence. Sometimes the biggest players are standing on the shakiest foundations. The threat couldn't be clearer. They were coming for SkyMind. Your system security was breached last night, Gene continued. Someone tried to access your neural interface patents. Did they get in? No, but they were close. Gene looked troubled. The attack signature matches Naya's old coding style. She's evolved, but the foundation is the same. Aurelia closed her eyes briefly. Naya's voice from years ago echoed. Your security is holes. Let me fix them. And she had, building walls that protected SkyMind's most valuable assets. Walls she now knew how to climb. What does Neurofront gain from all this? Aurelia wondered aloud. Everything. Gene pulled up market projections. Neural interface technology will be worth billions once it passes regulation. SkyMind is 6 months ahead of everyone. Unless someone steals our research. Aurelia finished his thought. The restaurant began filling with morning guests. Among them, Aurelia spotted 2 of the Chinese executives from yesterday's meeting, speaking in hushed tones. What are they saying? She asked Gene, who understood basic Mandarin. He focused, then paled. They're discussing how the American problem will resolve itself today. Something about markets shifting when the news breaks. What news? Before Gene could answer, Aurelia's phone lit up with notifications. Dozens of them, all financial alerts. SkyMind stock was plummeting. A breaking news headline flashed. SkyMind CEO accused of stealing Chinese research, fraud investigation pending. The attack wasn't coming. It was already here. Find Naya, Aurelia said, standing abruptly. Now. Naya's hotel room was empty when Aurelia entered, except for the wall covered with photos, documents, and red string connecting every major decision of Aurelia's life for the past 2 years. The Golden Suite lived up to its name. Opulent furnishings, gilded mirrors, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Shanghai's financial district. But Aurelia barely noticed the luxury. Her attention fixed on a makeshift investigation board covering the far wall. SkyMind press releases, newspaper clippings about Aurelia, medical diagrams of neural pathways, military applications sketched in the margins, and at the center, their wedding photo with Aurelia's face circled in red. She's been tracking me, Aurelia whispered, moving closer. The stolen keycard Gene had acquired from housekeeping had gotten her inside, but she had minutes at most before someone noticed. A laptop sat open on the desk. Password protected. Aurelia tried the obvious, their anniversary date. Access denied. Their first meeting location. Denied again. She glanced at the wall of evidence, looking for clues. Then she saw it. A small note in Naya's handwriting. The night truth mattered. Aurelia's hands trembled as she typed. Tokyo 2023. The screen unlocked. Folders appeared, meticulously labeled. SkyMind patents. Military applications. Board conspiracy. And one simply called us. She clicked it. Inside were hundreds of files. Every email they'd ever exchanged, photos Aurelia thought deleted, the divorce papers with Naya's tear stains still visible on the scanned copy. And videos, dozens of them. She clicked one at random. The SkyMine boardroom appeared. Aurelia recognized the meeting 2 years ago, just after their relationship went public. The Carter girl is a liability, Harold Winters, head of the board, said on screen. Either Aurelia ends it, or we find a new CEO. What about the fraud allegations? Another board member asked. Being handled. By tomorrow, Naya Carter's academic reputation will be destroyed. Aurelia will have no choice but to distance herself. Aurelia's blood ran cold. She believed them when they said the allegations against Naya came from her university, that protecting the company meant ending their marriage, that the settlement was the kindest option. A hotel door slammed nearby. Footsteps approached. Quickly, Aurelia copied the files to her phone. As she disconnected, she noticed one last folder, Neurofront True Purpose. The footsteps stopped outside the door. A key card beeped. Aurelia dove behind the massive bed just as the door swung open. I know you're in here. Naya's voice cut through the silence. I can smell your perfume. Still Chanel number 5, right? Trapped, with nowhere to run, Aurelia stood slowly. I had to know the truth, she said simply. Naya's eyes traveled to the open laptop, then back to Aurelia. Funny, she said, closing the door behind her. So did I. Aurelia opened the encrypted file and found herself staring at their wedding photo, the one she deleted from every device she owned. They sat side by side in Naya's hotel room. An uneasy truce formed in the wake of revelations. The investigation board loomed over them, a paper trail of betrayal and loss. You kept everything, Aurelia said quietly, scrolling through the digital archive of their relationship. Knowledge is power. Naya's voice was flat, and I needed power after you took everything else. The photo on screen showed them in Tokyo, cherry blossoms framing their embrace. Both laughing, both wearing white, both wearing the geometric symbol now half-burned from Naya's wrist. I didn't know about the board's plan, Aurelia said, about the fake allegations against you, but you believed them. The accusation hung sharp between them. You believed I would cheat on my research, that I was using you for your money and connections. You never even asked for my side. Aurelia had no defense. She'd chosen SkyMine's stability over investigating the truth. Had convinced herself the generous settlement made up for the public humiliation Naya endured. How did you get these board recordings? She asked instead. Your assistant, Miranda. She heard everything. Came to me after I'd already left. Too late to save us, but not too late for this. Naya gestured to the evidence wall. And Neurofront recruited you when, 6 months later, I was waiting tables in Beijing. Turns out linguistics PhDs with ruined reputations don't have many options. Bitterness edged Naya's words. They knew who I was, what I could do, and who I could help them destroy. Aurelia clicked through more files, each one revealing how thoroughly she'd been deceived by her own board, how completely she'd failed to protect the woman she loved. These articles about me, my alleged fraud, they're all traced back to a PR firm SkyMine hired. Naya pointed to a money trail on her laptop. Your board destroyed me, and you let them. I made a mistake. The words felt hollow, inadequate. Naya laughed without humor. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. You erased me from your life like a bad investment. Another file caught Aurelia's eye. Neurofront's True Purpose. She opened it, and pages of military applications filled the screen. Neural control systems, battlefield enhancements, surveillance capabilities that went far beyond consumer applications. This is what they want our technology for, Aurelia whispered, horrified. Not just them, the Chinese government, the American military, everyone. Naya closed the laptop. While you've been building stock value, I've been uncovering who really wants to own people's minds. Their eyes met, the weight of understanding passing between them. What happens now? Aurelia asked. Naya stood, straightening her pink dress. Now we go back to the negotiating table. Only this time, we both know what game we're really playing. Aurelia walked into the Neurofront building with nothing but a borrowed key card and the confidence of someone who belonged there. The lobby bustled with morning activity. Scientists in lab coats, executives in tailored suits, security guards scanning badges. No one looked twice at Aurelia in her blue blazer and visitor badge, courtesy of Jin's hacking skills. "Good morning, Ms. Chun," the receptionist said, reading the fake name on the badge. 15th floor, third door on the right. Aurelia nodded, heart pounding beneath her calm exterior. The elevator ride felt endless, each floor bringing her closer to the truth about who was really pulling the strings in this corporate chess match. The 15th floor housed Neurofront's research division. Through glass walls, Aurelia glimpsed laboratories where scientists worked on neural interfaces similar to SkyMine's. Except these had military markings on their casings. She found a third door, Dr. Marcus Chun, research director, and swiped her card. The lock clicked open. Chin's office was minimalist, with a single striking feature, a wall-sized screen displaying brain scan imagery. Active neural pathways lit up like city streets at night. "Beautiful, isn't it?" a voice said from behind. Aurelia spun to find herself face-to-face with Dr. Chun, brother of the poison translator and the man who had recruited Naya to destroy her. Most people would call security when finding a competitor in their office, Aurelia said, maintaining her composure. Chun smiled, closing the door. "Most people aren't expecting you, Miss Sky." A chill ran through her. This was a trap. I prefer to call it an invitation. Chun gestured to the neural display. "Do you recognize this brain scan?" Aurelia stepped closer, studying the patterns. They looked familiar somehow. "It's Naya's," Chun said, taken when we first approached her. "Look at the neural activity in the emotional centers. Still lit up like a Christmas tree whenever we mention your name." Aurelia's throat tightened. "What do you want from me?" The same thing we wanted from her. Partnership. Chun pressed a button, changing the display to SkyMine's patent schematics. "Your technology focuses on enhancing human consciousness. Ours focuses on directing it. Mind control," Aurelia translated. "Influence," Chun corrected. "Therapeutic at first, addiction treatment, PTSD, depression. Then more, specialized applications. Military applications." Chun shrugged. "Governments pay better than consumers. But we need your interface technology to make it work. Hence Naya. You used her pain to get to me. We gave her purpose when you took everything else." Chin's smile hardened. She was quite committed to destroying you. Until yesterday. Aurelia raised an eyebrow. "Waiting. Something changed after your rooftop meeting. This morning, she's not answering our calls." Chin studied Aurelia's face. "What did you tell her?" Before Aurelia could answer, alarms blared throughout the building. Red lights flashed in the hallway. "Security breach in the server room," a voice announced over speakers. Chin's eyes widened. "What did you do?" Aurelia smiled for the first time. "I didn't come alone." While she kept Chin talking, Jean had been downloading Neurofront's research database, proof of their military contracts and planned misuse of neural technology. Chin lunged for his desk phone, but Aurelia was faster, knocking it away. "Your translator wasn't just Naya's doing, was he?" she demanded. "You poisoned your own brother to get her in the room." "Family serves the greater good," Chin said coldly. Guards shouted in the hallway. Footsteps pounded toward the office. Aurelia backed toward the window. Your greater good just became public knowledge. She pressed a button on her phone, sending everything Jean had discovered to every major tech publication worldwide. Game. Set. Match. The gala dinner froze as Aurelia and Naya locked eyes across the room, each holding information that could destroy the other. Crystal clinked against crystal. Wealthy investors mingled with government officials. The Shanghai Tech Summit Gala transformed the Grand Pavilion's ballroom into a showcase of power and money. Perfect hunting ground for predators of all kinds. Aurelia entered wearing midnight blue, commanding attention from investors still reeling from the morning's stock fluctuations. Neurofront's research leaks had created market chaos. Tech blogs exploding with headlines about military neural interfaces and ethical violations. Across the room, Naya stood in a new dress, emerald green now, not pink, deep in conversation with Chinese officials who kept glancing Aurelia's way. Jin's voice came through Aurelia's hidden earpiece. "We got trouble. Someone's attacking SkyMind servers. They're trying to wipe the backup files of your neural interface designs." Aurelia maintained her smile while scanning the room. There, Jackson Reed, Neurofront CEO, typing furiously on his phone while watching her. "Can you stop it?" she murmured into her champagne glass. "Not alone," Jean replied. "The attack pattern, it's Naya's coding signature, but evolved. Only she would know how to counter it." The irony wasn't lost on Aurelia. The woman she betrayed was now the only one who could save her company's future. She moved toward Naya, cutting through conversations with practiced ease. When she reached her, the Chinese officials stepped back, sensing the electric tension between the women. "Dance with me," Aurelia said, not a request. Naya's expression revealed nothing. "Why would I do that?" "Because someone's using your code to attack my servers, and you're the only one who can stop it." A flicker of surprise crossed Naya's face. "It's not me. I know. It's Chun. He's weaponized your work." The orchestra began a waltz. Around them, couples moved to the dance floor. "Our servers are connected," Aurelia continued quietly. "If mine fall, yours at Neurofront are next." Chin's cutting ties, eliminating everyone who knows about the military contracts. Naya glanced toward Jackson Reed, who watched them with growing anxiety. "If I help you," Naya said, taking Aurelia's outstretched hand, "we're not even. Not by a long shot." They moved to the dance floor, a perfect picture of business rivals making peace. Only the grip of their hands betrayed the truth. "My phone," Aurelia said. "Jin's connected. Tell him how to stop the attack." As they danced, Naya whispered code sequences into the phone. Around them, the gala continued, oblivious to the digital battle being waged through whispered commands and typed responses. "There's something you should know," Naya said as the music reached its crescendo. "Chin didn't just recruit me for my connection to you. He needed my algorithm. The one that maps emotional responses to neural stimuli. The one we developed together," Aurelia realized. "Before I left. The one that makes true mind control possible." Naya's eyes burned into hers. "The one I never gave them the complete version of because I knew what they'd do with it." The music ended. Across the room, security personnel surrounded Jackson Reed, escorting him toward an exit. "What's happening?" Aurelia asked. Naya's smile was grim satisfaction. "That would be the Chinese government arresting him for stealing state research. An anonymous tip with very detailed evidence just reached the right officials." Their eyes met in mutual understanding. They'd each played their cards. Now they were playing them together. Jin's voice came through the earpiece, server secure. "But something bigger is coming." On cue, every phone in the ballroom chimed with the same news alert. "Breaking: neural interface technology linked to unauthorized human testing." The battleground was shifting again. The board members' faces on the emergency video call hardened as Aurelia revealed the evidence against them. "You didn't protect the company from Naya. You conspired to remove her." Aurelia sat in her hotel suite, tablet propped before her displaying 6 aging executives whose combined net worth could buy small countries. Men who'd seen her as a brilliant investment, not a person with a heart. "This is absurd," Harold Winters sputtered, jowls quivering with indignation. "We acted in the company's best interest. By fabricating academic fraud allegations, by threatening my position if I didn't end my marriage." Aurelia's voice remained steady while she pulled up document after document on their screens. Every email, every payment to that PR firm, every conversation about destroying Naya's reputation rather than letting SkyMind be led by a CEO in a same-sex marriage. The silence that followed confirmed everything. In the corner of the suite, Naya sat silently, watching the men who had ruined her life squirm under Aurelia's questioning. "The stock dropped 8% when your relationship went public," another board member offered weakly, "and rose 12% the following quarter under our joint leadership," Aurelia countered. "Before you intervened." She pulled up one final document, Naya's original research on emotional mapping in neural interfaces. The foundation of everything SkyMind later built. "You didn't just lose me a wife. You lost the company its most valuable mind." The board exchanged glances, calculating as always. "What do you want, Aurelia?" Winters finally asked, "Your resignations? All of you?" Effective immediately. Protests erupted, but Aurelia continued. "Or tomorrow, every major news outlet receives proof that SkyMine's board engaged in character assassination, fraud, and corporate espionage. You wouldn't tank your own company," one challenged. "The company will survive. Your reputations won't." The call ended with promises of legal consequences and further discussion, but Aurelia knew she'd won. She turned to Naya, who hadn't spoken throughout the confrontation. "That won't fix what they did to me," Naya said quietly. "No," Aurelia agreed. "Nothing can." She hesitated, then added, "But it's a start." Naya stood, pacing the room. "Chin's still out there. The military contracts are still active. All we've done is expose the surface. Then we go deeper." Aurelia pulled up the neural interface schematics they'd created together years ago. "You never gave them your complete emotional mapping algorithm." "No, I gave them enough to recruit me, but kept the core architecture locked away." Naya tapped her temple. "Up here. Could you rebuild it?" "I already have." Naya pulled out her own tablet, showing a more evolved version of their original work. "But not for mind control, for protection against it." Their eyes met, a spark of their old connection flaring to life. Two brilliant minds, once perfectly aligned, finding their way back to common ground. "I'm still angry," Naya said, the words catching in her throat. 2 years of my life, my reputation, my heart. I know." Aurelia didn't offer excuses. "I failed you. Failed us." Outside, dawn broke over Shanghai, painting the sky in pinks and golds. A new day, perhaps a new beginning. "We have 6 hours before the Ling Show meeting," Aurelia said. "What's our next move?" For the first time, Naya smiled without malice. "We rewrite the rules of the game." The Chinese executives listened intently as Aurelia spoke perfect Mandarin for the first time. "I believe someone has been manipulating all of us." Surprise flickered across the faces of the Ling Xiu representatives. Beside Aurelia, Naya fought to keep her expression neutral. The twist in their strategy had been Aurelia's idea, revealed that she'd understood every mistranslation from the beginning. "My Mandarin is limited but functional," Aurelia continued in their language before switching back to English. "Enough to know when terms are being altered." Dr. Wei leaned forward. "Yet you allowed the deception to continue." "To understand its purpose," Aurelia replied. "And to discover who benefits when Chinese and American companies are turned against each other." Jean entered, carrying a secure tablet. On screen footage from Neurofront's labs, Dr. Chun demonstrating neural influence technology to military officials. Neurofront has been selling promises to both the Chinese and American military, Naya explained, using stolen research from both our companies to develop weapons disguised as medical breakthroughs. The executives murmured among themselves. News alerts continued flooding every device in the room. Neurofront stock in free fall, investigations announced, their CEO in custody. "What do you propose?" Dr. Wei asked finally. Aurelia slid forward a new contract. A true partnership, transparent, equal, with safeguards against military applications. An ethical oversight from independent sources, Naya added. Outside the conference room, the business world churned with chaos. Tech reporters swarmed the hotel lobby. Social media exploded with speculation. Former Neurofront employees reached out, offering evidence of other violations. Dr. Wei studied both women. "You were married?" "Not a question." Aurelia nodded. "And now you work together again." He seemed to find this most interesting of all. After betrayal, some partnerships are worth rebuilding, Aurelia said, not looking at Naya. Wei smiled slightly. "In China, we have a saying, true gold fears no fire. Perhaps your alliance is such gold." He signed a contract first. Aurelia followed. When Naya added her signature as witness, the circle completed. As the executives filed out, Wei paused beside Aurelia. "Your Mandarin has an unusual accent." "Tokyo region." Aurelia nodded. "I learned from my honeymoon." His eyes crinkled with understanding. "The strongest metals are forged twice." He glanced between the two women. Perhaps the same is true of bonds between people. When they were alone, Naya turned to Aurelia. You never told me you kept practicing Mandarin. There were a lot of things I couldn't say out loud after you left, Aurelia admitted. Speaking your language was the closest I could get to talking to you. The confession hung between them. Not quite forgiveness, but a bridge being rebuilt one plank at a time. Naya's phone buzzed with alerts. The tech blogs are calling it the neural war. Stock markets are going crazy. Let them, Aurelia said. We have more important things to focus on. Like what? Like making sure what happened to us doesn't happen to anyone else. Aurelia held up the signed contract. Starting with this. For the first time in 2 years, they shared a genuine smile. Co-conspirators once more. The contract sat and signed between them. Neither woman reaching for the pen as dawn broke over Shanghai's skyline. Not the business contract. That was settled. This one was personal. Joint Statement of Ethics and Boundaries, read the heading. Below stretched clauses they'd spent the night crafting. The terms of their renewed professional relationship. Item 7 is non-negotiable, Naya said, pointing to the clause about independent verification of all research applications. Agreed. Aurelia pushed the room service breakfast aside, focusing on the document. And I need item 9, clear communication protocols, no more secrets. They sat in Aurelia's suite, having worked through the night to prepare for the press conference that would announce their new joint venture. Outside, reporters gathered like wolves, hungry for details of the tech world's most unexpected alliance. You realize what people will say, Naya pointed out, that I came back for your money, that you're trying to buy forgiveness. People always talk, Aurelia replied. We know the truth. But did they? The question lingered between them. 2 years of pain couldn't be erased with one contract, one night of productive work, one shared victory against those who had manipulated them both. Naya stood, moving to the window. Shanghai spread below them, a city waking to news that would reshape the tech industry. I had your company's destruction planned down to the minute. I dreamed about watching you lose everything. I know, Aurelia didn't flinch from the truth. I would have done the same. No, you wouldn't. Naya turned, her eyes clear and direct. You would have walked away, like you did before. The accusation stung because it contained truth. Aurelia had chosen the easy path once, cutting ties, writing checks, moving on. The path of least resistance. I'm not that person anymore, she said quietly. Prove it. Naya picked up the pen, offering it handle first. Sign first this time. Show me you're all in. Aurelia took the pen, its weight suddenly significant. This wasn't just about business, about technology, about reputation. This was about trust, broken once, now precariously rebuilt. She signed with a steady hand. Naya took the pen, adding her own signature below. We're not friends, she clarified. We're not anything but business partners with aligned interests. For now, Aurelia agreed. Their phones chimed simultaneously, a news alert. The first photos of Dr. Chun in custody had leaked. The man who tried to use them against each other now faced charges in 2 countries. They'll come after us next, Naya warned. Everyone who loses money or power because of what we've done. Let them try. Aurelia stood, straightening her suit. We're stronger together than they ever were. A knock at the door announced Jean with the final press packets. The moment of privacy was ending. The public performance was about to begin. Before opening the door, Aurelia paused. For what it's worth, I never stopped thinking about you. Not for a single day. Naya's expression revealed nothing, but her words held the first hint of thaw. I know. Why do you think I chose a pink dress? It was always your favorite color for me. The door opened, and the world rushed in. The New York Times headline flashed worldwide. SkyMind and Neurofront announced historic merger under dual leadership. 6 months had transformed everything. What began as revenge had evolved into revolution. Aurelia stood at the window of the new SkyMind headquarters in San Francisco, watching employees cross the campus below. The building's unique design, 2 separate wings flowing into one central collaborative space, reflected the company's new structure. Separate but united. Like its leaders, the neuroprotection patents cleared final approval, Naya said, entering with a tablet, displaying the confirmation. No more pink dresses or waitress disguises. Today, she wore a tailored gray suit, her natural authority no longer hidden. That makes 3 this quarter. Aurelia turned from the window. The board's impressed. The new board, diverse, ethical, transparent, had embraced their joint vision for neural interface technology focused on privacy and protection rather than control and influence. Public trust is at 72%, Naya continued, scrolling through data. Up from 12% during the scandal. They had become the unlikely face of tech ethics, their personal story of betrayal and reconciliation mirroring the industry's own reckoning with power and responsibility. There's something else. Naya hesitated, then handed over a small velvet box. I found this while cleaning out my desk at the Shanghai office. Aurelia opened it to find her half of their matching geometric pendant, the one she'd removed the day she signed the divorce papers. I kept meaning to throw it away, Naya said, not meeting her eyes. Never could. 6 months of working together had slowly rebuilt professional trust. The personal wounds healed more slowly. They functioned perfectly as business partners, their minds still complementary in all the ways that had first drawn them together. But the distance remained professional, careful, guarded. I have something for you too, Aurelia said. From her desk drawer, she pulled a framed document. Naya's linguistics PhD, finally awarded after Aurelia had used her influence to have the fraud allegations formally retracted. The university president sent a personal apology, Aurelia explained. Your academic record is fully restored. Naya touched the frame, fingers trembling slightly. This doesn't fix everything. I know, Aurelia set down the pendant. Nothing can erase the past, but maybe we can build something better from it. Their new company name reflected this philosophy. PANICS Interface Systems. From the ashes of SkyMind and Neurofront, something new had risen. Technology designed to protect free will rather than manipulate it. The Tokyo team sent their prototype results, Naya said, changing the subject back to business. They're exceeding expectations. Tokyo, where they had honeymooned, where they had first sketched the neural interface concept on hotel stationery, excited by the possibilities. We should go, Aurelia said suddenly. To Tokyo, see the work firsthand. Naya raised an eyebrow. Together, as Kosis, Aurelia clarified. Nothing more, but as they stood surrounded by the empire they'd reconstructed from betrayal and broken trust, both wondered if nothing more was truly what either wanted. Naya picked up the pendant, studying its geometric pattern. We've come full circle, haven't we? Not quite, Aurelia replied. Circles end where they begin. We're somewhere entirely new. The conference room hushed as Aurelia and Naya took the stage together, no longer in opposition, but standing as equals. 2 years ago, we lost everything. Today, we rewrote that algorithm. 10,000 tech leaders, developers, and journalists filled San Francisco's largest convention center for the unveiling of PANICS Interface's most ambitious project. The energy was electric, anticipation building through months of carefully controlled information releases. Screens lowered behind them, displaying the project's name, Autonomy. Neural interface technology stands at a crossroads, Aurelia began, her voice carrying to every corner of the massive space. For too long, the focus has been on how to extract data from the human mind, how to influence thought patterns, how to create dependency. Naya stepped forward. Today we introduce a different path. Technology that puts protection of human thought at its core. Neural interfaces that enhance without exploiting, connect without controlling. Their presentation flowed seamlessly between them, each building on the other's points in perfect rhythm. The audience watched not just the revolutionary technology, but the remarkable partnership behind it. The story everyone in tech had followed for months. The heart of autonomy is an algorithm we began developing years ago, Aurelia explained, bringing up complex neural mapping visuals. It started as a way to understand emotional responses. Now it serves as a shield against unwanted neural influence. In simple terms, Naya added, a firewall for your brain. As they demonstrated the technology, the personal journey remained unspoken but evident in every interaction between them. The careful distance, the lingering glances, the way they anticipated each other's thoughts. After the presentation, questions flew from the audience. How can we trust that PANICS won't misuse this technology the way Neurofront did? A reporter called out. Naya answered without hesitation. Because we've seen firsthand the damage caused by technology without ethics, by power without accountability. And because autonomy's core architecture will be open source, Aurelia added. No black boxes, no hidden functions, complete transparency. There are rumors that your personal relationship has also been rebuilt along with your professional one. Care to comment? The audience held its breath. This was a question everyone wondered, but few dared ask directly. Aurelia and Naya exchanged glances. Some algorithms take time to perfect, Aurelia said finally. That's all we'll say on that matter. As the crowd laughed, something shifted between them, a wall lowering just slightly. The questions continued, but beneath the professional answers, a private conversation unfolded in subtle glances and half-smiles. The story of PANICS wasn't just about technology or business or ethics. It was about second chances, about building something stronger for broken pieces. As the presentation ended to thunderous applause, Naya leaned close to Aurelia's ear. That Tokyo trip, she whispered. I think we should go, not just as co-stars. Aurelia turned, hope flaring for the first time in years. What else? Naya's smile held both caution and promise. Let's write that algorithm together and find out. The stage lights dimmed as they exited together, their shadows merging into one. Not a perfect ending, not yet, but a new beginning, which was all either of them had ever truly wanted.